Is adult entertainment harmless fun and a much-needed outlet, or is it a damaging scourge on our society? To debate this is adult entertainer Brooklyn Blue, Chief Executive of Christian Concern Andrea Williams, and Trent Talbot, the founder and CEO of Brave Books, which publishes work which defends conservative values. He's also the author of a new adventure book. It's out now. It's called The Fight for Freedom Island. Let's start with you, if I can, Trent Talbot. Is pornography harmless fun?
Well, as a publisher for children's books, I tend to look at things through a perspective on how it affects our kids, and it's devastating for our kids. But when you talk about it, I think first you have to talk about it is from the lens of how does it affect our families. 47% of families say that porn is a serious issue in their home, with 56% of divorces having one spouse saying that they have a obsession with porn. And so the secondary effects on children that's caused by the breaking up of families caused by porn is enough to create an outrage. But unfortunately, our children are getting tangled up in porn's web as well. The latest numbers are that 93% of boys before the age of 18 are seeing porn, with 60% of girls. And the average age of first exposure is like 11 years old. 11 years old, Mark. I mean, it's incredible. And just the studies that show the effects that porn has on those young minds is terrifying, with skyrocketing rates of anxiety, depression, sexual aggression, a laundry list of mental health issues.
We don't want, do we, Trent Talbot, children getting hold of inappropriate material, but that might be the fault of the tech giants or careless, incompetent parents. But is pornography in and of itself, when consensual and watched by adults, such a bad thing?
Well, yeah, I think so. Because what happens with most people, but especially kids, is that the one video, it has to be a little bit more extreme than the previous one. And so it leads to this sort of bottomless pit of depravity. And that's why we're seeing child pornography being the fastest growing online business, with 55% of its victims being 10 years of age or younger.
However, Trent, it's wrong, isn't it, to conflate child pornography, which is evil, with adult pornography? You can't conflate the two, can you?
Well, I'd argue that the latter leads to the former. I don't think people really start at the most extreme. It's like I said, it's a bottomless pit where you start at the surface level stuff and it gets more extreme and more extreme. So yeah, I would say that you can't conflate those two.
Brooklyn Blue, you work in and have worked in the adult entertainment industry. What's your reaction to what Trent Talbot said, that even the most low-level pornography is a slippery slope to something far worse?
I mean, to me, it's you can't even compare the two. They're completely different, a world apart. I mean, there is legal pornography, legal porn, which is entertainment, and it's safe and it's all consensual and everything like that, and that's entertainment. You can't even compare someone that's doing criminal activity and with the normal side of the porn industry. I mean, to put even the two together and say that somebody that's watching, harmless porn, which is, the cheating wife or this, that and the other, all that kind of thing's going to end up going down a slippery slope of then going into watching criminal porn. I mean, to me, that's insane to even be able to put the two together and say that that they even are anywhere near each other is beyond me, and I don't think that's correct at all. I think somebody that enjoys watching harmless porn, which is your typical porn, is never going to go down that road of that. Of that path. They're not going to do that. It's the person that's doing that is going to do that regardless, and it's not because they've started watching normal porn to begin with and they want something more. Of course not. The sort of person that is doing that would be a sort of person to do that anyway. To put the two together is insane to me.
I wonder, Andrea Williams, where it's a bit of a leap that somebody that pops one out to page 3 is suddenly going to become a rabid child abuser, within hours.
There is no such thing as harmless porn. Porn in itself is a violation of something that is beautiful, sexual expression, which I believe is something that is rightly placed within the marriage of a man and a woman. And to even have this notion, as we have in society, as Trent has pointed out, that it's just somehow some recreational thing that has no impact at all, clearly doesn't bear out with the kind of thing that we're seeing in our society today. Those statistics that Trent mentioned, 1 in 25 websites is pornographic. Today, we've seen this week an MP in Parliament so consumed, it would seem, allegedly, by porn, that he's actually sitting in a chamber where we make our legislation watching porn. But that shouldn't surprise us, because we've got a moral crisis around this in our nation. As Trent pointed out, our kids are watching porn. Kids' first access, there was a parliamentary report by Sarah Champion that showed in 2016 that here in England, children are accessing porn as young as 9. 1 in 3 9-year-olds see porn. So we've got a massive problem. The largest traffic going out, internet traffic going out of universities in the afternoons, is not to academic sites, but rather to pornography sites. What are we doing to the minds of our young people? It's not edifying. It actually degrades the people that are watching it, the people that are doing it. It degrades relationships. It breaks up relationships. That's a massive moral crisis. And I think we need to go right to the root of it. It's not just, it's all of us that are complicit in this, in permitting it, in permitting this to continue. It's not good for those that participate. Brooklyn, it's not even good for you, I would say. It's not good. It's not. At the end of the day, these things, it's not who you are, a value for you. You're worth much more than that, as is every woman. And so I would say this really strikes at a massive moral crisis that we need to look at, and that really porn ought to be banned. It should be banned. It's not
Brooklyn Blue, pornography is not good for you.
Oh, well, I don't know what I've been doing for the past 10 years then. I mean, of course, I love my job. And as I've always said, I am a feminist in myself, of a part of, as a woman, when I go onto my sets and everything like that, I am completely in control. I am completely in control of the situation. I actually have helped direct my scenes, and I've done well from it. So I would say it's been very good for me. However, obviously,
I'm agreeing with you. This week they're saying, look at all this. Look at how degrading this is for women. How dare this man do this? And so they're saying it's misogynistic. So the men, for watching women doing porn, for watching these situations, are being told that they're misogynistic. We set up a situation which hurts, which harms, which sets people against people, where we divorce sex from its proper place. That's a big mess. And it's a moral mess. And it's a moral mess which cripples our society. And we see it's even crippling Parliament, cripples our kids. It's devastating.
Andrea Williams, it's not really the fault of pornography, though, if 9-year-olds are looking at it. We don't want that to happen, of course. But it's the same with alcohol, isn't it? I mean, there are small children that get hold of alcohol. That doesn't mean that adults have got to give up their pint.
Yes, come on in, Trent.
All right. Yeah. So if you think about it this way, if there was a new drug on the streets, and 93% of boys under the age of 18 were using it, with the average start age of 11 years old, and it was causing all these problems, which porn causes for kids. It causes anxiety, depression, all sorts of things. There would be worldwide outrage, and there would be congressional hearings in the United States, I know for sure, every single day until something was done. But that doesn't happen in our culture. Our culture turns a blind eye to it, and it really makes you wonder.
I mean, to me, to compare drugs and alcohol to normal porn is bizarre. And I mean, like I said, obviously there is porn addiction that people can end up with that, but just because there is also the type of porn where there's romantic porn. You know, there's one company in particular that literally just do marriage porn, and it's actually made for couples to help their marriage, to spice up their sex life.
The science is clear cut. The science is clear cut. When kids watch porn, they have dramatically increased rates of anxiety, depression, sexual aggression, just the list goes on and on. Maybe you don't care, but that's what the science says, and it's not even up for debate. Everybody agrees with that. So
no, not everyone agrees with that. I'm sorry, but no. I mean, then I don't believe that the science backs that. I mean, at the end of the day, porn has always been there. It's always going to be around. If children are accessing that when they shouldn't be, that's nothing to do with the porn industries themselves. That's down to the parents putting safeguarding on the internet. It's down to, as Mark said, the tech companies. You should be safeguarding your own children from viewing that type of material. If children that shouldn't be watching it are watching it, it's not down to the porn industry.
Andrea?
1 in 25 websites is pornographic. 1 in 8 web searches are for erotic content. Within an analysis of top-selling porn content, 304 sex scenes were analysed for both physical and verbal aggression. 88% of those scenes were found to contain physical aggression and 49% contain verbal aggression. This was in a report before Parliament recently. Verbal sexual aggression in porn. It's the fact that it's so available on our phones, so easily there. Also, the secrecy of it, the way in which our children can go away, hide themselves away, and watch it. Men, women, 1 in 3 visitors to websites are now women. It's not just a male thing either. That's catastrophic for true relationships, for the beauty of true human sexuality, with the loving and real sexuality. There is no such thing as romantic porn. There is no such thing as romantic porn.
Can I ask you, what about the women that view porn?
That's a nonsense, Brooklyn.
Andrea, hold fire. Brooklyn?
What about the women that view porn then? What's your view on them? Because actually, if you look at statistically, a lot of women, I don't know the exact percentage, I don't want to give an incorrect one, but I'm sure you could find it. A lot of women watch porn. It's not just men that watch it, it's women that watch it too. It's also couples that watch it together and enjoy it together. Like I said, it's not just men watching it. It really, really isn't.
Also, Trent Talbot, aren't you fighting a losing battle? We've had pornography for millennia, going back to erotic etchings in ancient Greece.
Well, you know, first and foremost, I'm just trying to help parents, help equip parents, and help them understand, you know, just how deep this problem is for their kids, and to understand first and foremost, if they're not actively fighting this battle, then they're passively losing it. And so, some steps that parents can take is to, you know, first of all, just watch what type of content comes in the home. Be the example that you want to set for your kids by creating guidelines, you know, watching what your kids are using with their phones and on TV. And then also, you know, just talk. I think it's healthy to talk to your kids about sex before someone else does. Otherwise, their curiosity will get the best of them, and they'll go to Google for answers, which you don't want them Googling anything involving sex. They'll find some nasty stuff. You know, So I would love to see there be much more stringent restrictions for big tech companies to help protect, you know, our young children. I doubt porn will ever totally go away, but we can definitely do a much better job protecting our kids.
Andrea Williams, back to family values and marriage. Don't you think there's a chance that mild and gentle pornography, the kind that Brooklyn Blue makes and has been talking about, very sort of legal, consensual, non-violent pornography, might actually prevent adultery if a husband or a wife is able to take succor on Google for a few minutes in order to not chase their neighbour's wife?
No, it's catastrophic. It breaks the marriage bond, the marriage vow. pornography just generally dulls the soul, dulls the person, dulls the senses, dulls who they are, dulls the personality. And actually, for the health and for the beauty and for real relationships and for a real relationship between men and women, we need to cultivate much more than physical, something that's just simply physical. There's much more to it than that.
But Andrea, why do so many marriages, millions of marriages, survive pornography? I would have thought the vast majority of men in particular consume pornography on a regular basis. They're not walking around like zombies, are they?
I think that the truth is that within a marriage, it's really always important to try and work out if pornography has gone on, then of course we can forgive one another, we can work out why and move on. But actually it is a violation and a betrayal of the marriage to watch pornography, to do pornography, that's a betrayal of the intimate, beautiful sexual bond between a man and a woman, which is what that is what makes a marriage so special. That's what makes it the best building block for society. In fact, when there is faithfulness between a man and a woman, and certainly not this idea that somehow there can be a quick bit of succor by watching a bit of porn and that helps a marriage. Well, that's a travesty of the truth, I would say. Quite the opposite.
Can I ask you that? Would it shock you to know that I'm happily married and been married for 4 years? And me and my husband both perform in the adult movies, and we have a great marriage. We have our real life and we have our work life, and we have our marriage is absolutely fantastic. I suppose you wouldn't expect that, but it's true. And like I said as well, kind of what Trent was saying earlier about I believe what the problem is it's actually down to a lack of education. I think that, children should be educated on it when they get to the age which they might start finding it on the internet. It is down to education. They need to be educated. They need to understand that, what they're watching, it's not real. It's fantasy. It's entertainment. We are actresses and actors. We are entertaining. We're providing an entertainment.
It hurts.
And it is the education lack. I think if they're going to come across they need to understand what's real and what's not, and it's down to a lack of education. I've always said for years I think they should be teaching that.
Okay.
They should even send that, have that in schools, teaching them.
Trent, I've only got a couple of seconds left. You are the founder and CEO of Brave Books, which publishes work for children which defends conservative values. Your latest book is out now. It's called The Fight for Freedom Island. Tell me more.
Yeah, Mark. So Brave Books, we teach children traditional values and help combat sort of the dominating effect that the left has on culture. And so it's a subscription model where parents can go to bravebooks.com and subscribe and get a new book every month. And we just find that children learn these topics best through story. And so that's our approach. And the kids love them, parents love them. It creates great discussion between the family on some important topics, things like gender identity, sanctity of life. And it's coming at it obviously from a traditional conservative perspective.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.